Welcome to Baby Boomer Tales. My name is Jim. You can find us on Facebook, Baby Boomer Tales, or our website, babyboomertales.com. Once you've arrived at our website, there are many things you can do, including shop at our Boomers General Store, link to our podcast on many different podcast sites, including Amazon Music Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and more. How are you today? November is almost over and we are cruising towards December. Thank you for riding along. Our unusual fact this week: sunglasses were originally designed for Chinese judges to hide their facial expression in court. Today, sunglasses are designed as protective eyewear, also as a fashion accessory. But in the 12th century, Chinese judges wore these glasses. They were made out of smoky quartz, and they wore them to mask their emotions when they were questioning a witness. Beijing Vice. Mama boo 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 boo. Ba 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 boo. Meow meow. What are you doing, Homer? What? Jerry, how you doing? What are you listening to there, Homer? Jerry, this is the newest invention. I think the best invention since sliced bread. You ever hear that old saying, best thing since sliced bread? Well, I think I've got it right here. Right here. This is called a Walkman, Jerry. Walkman. That means you can walk and listen to music. See the music? Hold on. Let me get that out here. See? It's a little cassette. And it goes in this box, and you got this here headphone. You want to try the headphone on, Jerry? No, thank you, Homer. Go ahead and explain what that thing is. And you can press play here, see play, and it'll play music. And I can sing along, and I can be out here on the front porch where it's nice, when I don't have any customers inside, and I could rearrange the rocking chairs, and I can wash the windows, and I can sweep the porch, and I can sing, and maybe I do a little dancing. I like to dance, Jerry. You know I like to dance. Yes, Homer, I know you like to dance. What song you listening to there that you're humming and singing? And Jerry, it's kind of a new song. It's only been out a couple weeks now. It's called The Coward of the County. It's by Kenny Rogers, Jerry. Kenny Rogers, the gambler guy. You know, hold 'em and fold 'em and run. Well, this guy, he's like the coward of the whole county. It's a good song, Jerry. Sure you want to hear it? Not right now, Homer. I've got things to do. Hi, Sparky. How you doing, Sparky? You a good dog, Sparky? Well, I don't know. I'm kind of tired. I stayed up until 11:30 last night, Jerry. What were you doing, Homer? I was watching Johnny Carson. Yep, I was watching Johnny Carson. You know who he had on his show last night? Besides Doc and Ed, you know, they're always there. They're always there. Who is that, Homer? He had on Broadway Joe Namath. Ooh, doggies. That guy could play football. He won a Super Bowl, Jerry. I know it, Homer. Everybody knows that. I know, but I thought I'd tell you just in case. Well, Homer, enjoy your music. Don't stay up too late watching that late night television. You need your beauty sleep. I know, Jerry. They say if I get any uglier, I'm going to have to close the store. Now for our Song of the Week. Our Song of the Week this week is Fools Rush In by Ricky Nelson. The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet aired from 1952 to 1966 on television. David and Ricky were their sons. Ricky started being a popular recording artist in 1957. The term teen idol was first coined to describe Ricky Nelson. At the end of each episode of Ozzie and Harriet, Ricky would play a song like Hello Mary Lou or I'm a Traveling Man, something like that. And there's usually a bunch of girls around and stuff, and Ricky is up there singing. He recorded 20 top 10 hits. In 1963, he released Fools Rush In. It was an old Glenn Miller song written in 1940, and Ricky's version made it to number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. Fools rush in where wise men never go, but wise men never fall in love. You know, after daylight savings time ended this fall, we went for about a month, and we would say, oh, it's 8 o'clock at night. I'm really tired. I think I'll go to bed. You know, it's really 9 o'clock at night because before daylight savings time ended, it was 9 o'clock at that time. We fall back. So we take about a month, I believe, to actually adjust to daylight savings time. And the way I can tell I've adjusted is I stop saying, well, it really is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Central Standard Time. I live in the Central Time Zone, so we either have Central Daylight Savings Time or Central Standard Time. So when I want to go to bed at 8 o'clock, I don't care. It's not really 9 o'clock, so it gives me an excuse to go. Just go to bed at 8 o'clock. Who cares? It's not really 9 o'clock. It's really 8 o'clock. Central Standard Time. I guess next year they're going to do away with Standard Time. That's what the hubbub around here is. I myself kind of like it when the winter season starts and it gets dark early. You know, those little kids waiting for a bus early in the morning are going to have to wait in the dark when all we have is daylight savings time in the winter. I don't think that's a good idea myself. Now, Thanksgiving just came and went. And when you were a kid, it made me start thinking, and actually I had this down as a idea for a podcast someday, but I just couldn't do a whole podcast on this. When you're a kid at Thanksgiving time, at least when I was a kid, my brothers and I believe even my cousins, we would put black olives on the end of our fingers. The pitted black olives. Now, if you try to do it and they're not pitted, you're going to have a heck of a time. But pitted black olives on the end of our fingers, walk around. We might have 10 olives on both your hands there. You kind of shake your hands and go up to your aunt or your mom and say, look at me, look at me. And you look stupid, but you think it's the greatest thing and it's funny, and then you eat one of those olives, then you eat a second olive. I used to love those black olives when I was a kid. Anymore, I don't much care for them. I like green olives with that little pimento inside. When I went to the Middle East, the two things I ate a lot of were olives and eggs, because they had a lot of hummus and some of that stuff, which I did not care for, but I loved their olives. It's amazing the variety of olives. And really, none of them were pitted. That might be an American thing, but they were wonderful and they were great. When I got back from the Middle East, I went down to this Mediterranean type store and bought a great big can. It had to be a gallon of olives. Now, they were different than what you buy in the grocery store, that's a fact. But I still love olives. And yes, I'll eat a black one if I have to, but I just in there green or red, olive color. Here's a little tidbit, and the title of our episode today is This, That, and the Other Things. So I'm just giving you some of this and giving you some of that and hoping you'll take some of the other things. One of the other things is, I think a regular person cannot do this. I don't know. I know I can't because I just tried. And if you can, you're probably some kind of a contortionist who can lick their own elbow. Not me. I cannot lick my elbow. I can't even get close. Here's one. Do you thank the waitress or the cashier at the store and they don't thank you? You know, you buy something or you pay your bill, and you say thank you, and they nod or they go, uh-huh. And you think to yourself, I think something here is backwards. Shouldn't they be thanking me? I just came and bought something from them. And they wouldn't have a job if I wasn't here buying something from them. It was almost beat into my head. You thank every customer. Thank them. Show them that you appreciate them. Not anymore. That doesn't happen. That does not happen. Seinfeld did a funny on that one time. Some bank said they give you $100 if they didn't say thank you or something like that. And so, of course, old Kramer goes in there and they didn't thank him, and he raised a commotion, and so they got the manager involved, and the manager let the clerk off because he said something that was kind of vaguely something like that almost, and he smiled. Well, that's kind of how we are today. We're all just Seinfeld characters, and those people not thanking us are the extras that they have in there to try and make us laugh. But it's no laughing matter, as far as I'm concerned. Makes me so I don't even want to go back. So, needless to say, I don't go many places anymore. Am I sounding like an old fart? I am 72 years old, and I don't think I act old. And my wife tells me I don't look old, but she lies, I think. But I don't feel old. I think that's on this list somewhere. Let's continue with the list. Maybe we'll run across that. Have you ever said this? Tough noogies. What in the world is a noogie? Probably said it when you were a kid. And I was going to look up noogies just to see what that meant, and I decided to leave it alone. Just bring it up here. So if you know what tough noogies means, well, you're a step ahead of me. Here's another this, that, or another thing. Tuna casserole. I have talked about food on many occasions here. Some of my favorite foods, some of the foods my mom made me, and all this stuff. One thing I've always omitted is tuna casserole. A lot of Fridays, because she seems to want to feed us fish on Friday, even though we were not Catholic. Just to get that fish into us, I guess, she'd make tuna casserole. The way my mother made it, it was really quite tasty. She put potato chips, crunched them up and stuff on the top. It wasn't bad, but you know, I have no desire for tuna casserole today. Now, I do kind of like tuna in its right setting. And if my mom was alive and she'd make some tuna casserole, I'd probably sit down and eat it. And maybe I wouldn't. My mom would be quite old right now, and she'd probably forget some ingredients like tuna. Just kidding. Anyway, while we're on food here, Brussels sprouts. A lot of people say they hate those, and I don't know why. They're like little miniature cabbages to me. The way I got eating them, though, is someone said something to the effect of, well, we're just a bunch of cannibals, and these are shrunken heads. Shrunken heads? All right. Pass me some more shrunken heads. To this day, when we have them, I ask my wife to pass me the shrunken heads. Drives her nuts, I'm sure. Why don't you grow up, Jim? That's the way I eat Brussels sprouts, dear. Now, pass those shrunken heads. Okay, another thing. I am against a cashless society. I'm totally against a cashless society. Yet, I am cashless. I do not like cash at all. Whenever I have cash, all of a sudden I'll be $3 or $4 short, and I don't know what I did with it. And no way I can track it down unless I can remember what I did with it. And if I use my card, I don't write checks anymore either. I always get a receipt. That's another thing. They never want to give you a receipt anymore. You have to ask for a receipt. So all these people are out there spending money. They have no idea what they're spending their money on. Give me a receipt. But I'm against a cashless society. And I'm against me having cash. I'm sure that comes from me being so anal about keeping all my records nice and neat and tidy. And that's what I did for a living, and I'm still living, so there you go. No cash for you. I like it cold in the bedroom. Now, I like it so darn cold, I would just soon it be 50 degrees or, less. I lived in one place where it would actually get 40 below zero. I would have frozen to death if it wasn't for some dogs laying on me at night. But anymore, if 50, 60, if it gets much above 60, I don't like it. But I like a bunch of blankets on me. My wife says that I need to have a down blanket, and I fight her on that. I want the heaviness of the blankets. Then she says, well, get a weighted blanket. I don't want that. I want regular blankets, and lots of them, stacked high, with the air cold. So why do you want it cold if you want to be warm in the bed? Why, when you see the lyrics to an old song, and they make less sense than the lyrics that bounce around in your head about that song? Why is that? Sugar pie, honey butt. Louie, Louie, whoa, whoa, da da da, ba ba, da da da. All that stuff. As you grow older, do you turn into your parents, or do you turn into how you perceived they were? Interesting question. I think I'm turning into my dad, but I think that's how I perceived him, how I do things. And I think, oh, I'm just like my dad there. Was I? I'm not really sure. One thing I don't like about getting older? My fingernails and my toenails. What's with that anyway? Live long and prosper, my friends. It's gonna be all right. Laugh at yourself and laugh with your friends. There's no use crying over spilled milk. Always be kind. It's kind of like taking the high road. I'll be back next Wednesday with something that makes a little more sense, maybe. Peace out.